Welcome back to Half-Ass Pod. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Corn. Over here, ladies and gentlemen, we also have Big J from Contemporary Comrades. My boy, you
What
already
up?
know, man. AJ, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? Good to be back over here. Good to be back on the mic. You feel me? We're doing a
It's been a
hiatus.
while.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. It's been a hot minute since we've both been on the mic, man. Since we've both been spitting that
facts,
fire, as y'all already know.
facts.
Uh, yeah, man. Pause. I'm gonna say pause first of all. But man, I miss this. I miss you, man. I
I
miss
know,
you, bro.
bro. I miss you too, man. Yeah. It's. I'm having a conundrum with the content on Comrades right now, so we'll have to talk about it off camera. But I'm just in a mental conundrum right now with the content, so I'm taking a hiatus to reestablish some things. But
Hey,
yeah,
that's
man.
all good, man. That's
Yeah,
all good, bro. And
but
I want to let you guys know too. All right, it's been a while since we've done a review on here,
facts.
just in general here on Half Ass Pod, but let alone with Big J and I here. I think the last one we did do was the Fresh Prince one, was it? Because the
On
other
this
one we
channel,
did
yeah,
on Comrades,
yeah,
the upload
yeah,
and peripheral.
yeah.
And if y'all haven't seen those reviews, make sure y'all go back on those as well, because those are some fire reviews that we did, and also some fire
Facts.
shows that we did.
Facts.
Now, speaking of fire shows, today we are reviewing Bel-Air season 2. Now, before we get into obviously
Real
the
boy.
details, the nitty gritty of all that stuff, right? Man,
Yeah.
I mean, where do I start? So, at the beginning of the season, I mean, or should we go off of last season, right? I mean, that first season was very unexpectedly good
Y
to me, surprisingly good.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I thought it actually ended well, but
I
then we
did
get
too.
into season 2 and it begins, and I'm just like, bruh.
Yeah. I was
Well,
kind of annoyed at the beginning. I was
yeah,
kinda like, "Damn, like, they really going back to this shit," but then they kinda fixed that real quick, but
yeah. I'd say, that the first almost half of the season, I was kind of frustrated with watching it. I was just like, because with the writing, and I feel the same way as a show called Power that I watch as well. So like, I watched that,
Mm.
and to me right now, I feel like the writing is kind of like the same when it comes to Bel Air, where it's like
Oh, really?
1 minute the writing, you're thinking like, man, this is so well written, the dialogue is great. Then the next thing you're like, who the fuck wrote this? Like, what the fuck is this?
Yep,
So,
yep.
like, that's kinda how I felt with Bel-Air, especially with this season, and especially with those first, like, 5 episodes. Once we got to episode 6, which I think was that family reunion episode,
But
episode 6 was probably the first good episode to me with this season. Um, but yeah,
see,
I know you feel differently,
we'll
but,
have to yeah.
yeah, but, yeah, go ahead, man.
No, I was just gonna say we'll have to dive into episode 6 just in general because that
What was
one
it that
that one
was
for
was
me,
that
I would
was I right about that? Is that correct about the family reunion one?
let me
Is that
look.
the
I
one?
got the, let's see. Yes, episode 6 was a family reunion. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Um,
Gotcha.
that one to me, that one I was like, "Who the fuck wrote this?" So you were like, "This is the first best episode." I'm like, "But the others were
Yeah.
good too." I thought, like we get into that sometime later. But I
I
mean, you
well,
want to talk?
I think it's just because the first half of the season I thought was just slow. 'Cause I remember we
That's
had a conversation about the first half
that's fair.
where, we kinda agreed that it's moving a little bit slow. Like, we know the points that they're trying to get to, but they're taking forever to get to them. And
Yeah,
then I feel like all of that kind of, not all of it, but at least most of it kind of turned over a new leaf, or most of it actually came to fruition in episode 6.
yeah,
Um, I
that's
I
fair.
think is what happened.
That's fair. I'd say the two cornerstone episodes were definitely like 6.
Mhm.
Well, I would say 3 would be like 6, and then honestly 9 and 10. I thought were pretty much. I feel like so I'm gonna go back to what you said about the first half being slow. I would
Mhm.
have to agree because I think that first off, I think all both of these seasons should have been 12 episodes.
Yep.
That's just my opinion. And second off, I think they were writing the first half of the second season like it had 12 episodes. Like they were still building dialogue. They were like still building like bullshit to work through up to
Mhm.
season 6, if not past it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they were still building a season halfway through. And it's like usually like the what's it called? I mean, that like it's still doing like what's it called rising action all the way up through season 6, and I think that was where it actually hit. So I think I don't know, they could have probably peaked it at like episode 4 and maybe work through some more stuff. But again,
Yeah,
I don't really
that's
know.
fast because it did feel a little crammed at the end of the season. Because
Yeah,
once we
man.
got to episode 10, I'm just like, this is the last episode. Like they're putting a lot of shit in episode
Yeah,
10,
man.
like finishing a lot of shit off and. I
But
mean,
at the same time,
how
okay.
did you feel about the end of at the end of that episode, the last episode?
Oh man. I mean, I for sure thought there was gonna be a third season. Um, I got third season vibes.
Yeah, I definitely have third season vibes as well. I don't know if they got renewed for it, but with the amount of people that watch it, I would say it's probably going to get a third season. I mean, this
Yeah,
seems like a type of show that can easily go because it's one of Peacock's bigger shows, anyways.
that's
This
true.
is a show that I feel like can easily go about 8 or 9 seasons, maybe 10. You
Really?
know, yeah.
Damn.
I don't think it's going to be like a 5 or 6. Now, again, maybe people stop watching because some of the writing that we're going to get into, not even the writing, some of the stuff in the show that we're going to get into, I feel like it's going to turn a lot of people off. And if it didn't have the Bel-Air name on it, if I wasn't as invested into at least the first season of this show, I would probably be turned off by a lot of it as well. But
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
I do want to make a shout out to Nate. What's up, man? He says, "What's
Good
up,
family,
fellas? Thank you for coming through, fam." He
for
says,
sure.
"I'd say I'd start it, but someone is bootlegging my account." Cough, cough.
Hey, man.
I'm dead.
You can't get in your own shit? Let me know, fam. I'll log out or whatever I got to do.
But shout out to Nate, man. Also, I don't know if I said this before, but make sure you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe. So if you guys are
Yeah,
any
do
new
all that
viewers
shit.
or whatever, yeah, make sure you guys do that, man. Hit
Yeah,
that
do all that shit.
thumbs up button. But yeah, I mean,
Well,
there's a lot of things. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say let me go back to a little bit more about season 10 about how
Yeah,
or season 10, geez, episode 10 about how I felt.
absolutely.
So I got he said all good, fam. Bet. So I definitely got third season vibes. I think we gonna get into the whole Will and Lisa and shit,
Drew.
what's her name? Jackie thing
Oh, yes, yes,
that happened in that episode? Because
yes.
that whole thing, like I feel like Will should have had done that, or we could go back a couple episodes where he was with Lisa at the hospital, and I was like, bro, why are you being a dumbass? Just fucking go, either go or tell you late. Like I'm with a friend at the hospital. Y'all friends, right? That's what y'all said.
Mm-hmm.
Just say I'm with a friend at the hospital. I'll have to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why you gotta just not text back and then act like he forgot? That's the shit that got me. Like, bruh.
Wait, you gotta remember we are talking about what a 17-year-old kid,
Yeah,
in this day and age.
That probably would be doing it. Yeah.
There's still gonna be some flaws in this game,
For sure. For sure.
Oh man, we got to talk about Jeffrey. Oh, not Jeffrey. We got to talk about Jeffrey too, but we got to talk about Jazz.
Yes.
Fucking,
Oh my.
why they do my boy Jazz like that with the car declining at the restaurant, and then they get back, and then he got the money in it. I'm like,
that's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying.
Why they do my boy Jazz like that?
Oh man, he was like the coolest one. Like Jazz was like the cool. Like I don't know. I feel like they did Jazz dirty at the end of the season, bro.
Yeah.
They did Jazz dirty, and then Carlton just like dug his own grave.
Oh, bro. Actually, let's start for Carlton real quick. Let's start. Right. I have to have a clip for Carlton.
Okay.
So your father and I had talked, and we've decided to lower your dosage.
Yeah, you can start tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Look, this is the right decision. Thank you, guys.
But you're gonna keep us in the loop, though, right? Let us know how you're feeling, because there are side effects with weaning off your meds: headaches, dizziness.
So if you have any stress or triggers, you have to come to us right away.
Yeah.
That's where it began.
Yep, that's where it all began. Because he fooled his parents, he fooled his therapist, he fooled. I mean, like they said at the last episode, he fooled everybody. Which we watched when it happened. Not everybody else saw it, but he fooled everybody, and then including himself. That's the biggest thing is he fooled himself, and was continuing to fool himself up until. Can I say it?
Yeah,
with,
yeah.
with Ashley. Okay, yeah. So he continued to fool himself until Ashley caught him snorting that. Ashley caught him skiing that motherfucking slope in the
Yep.
motherfucking locker.
Yep.
So, it's just Xanax. It's like bullshit. Don't
Got
worry.
him red-handed too.
Right.
Red-handed.
He almost got caught once by the lady who got him the Founders Award. Remember the teacher
Yep.
lady?
Yeah.
He
When
almost
when
got
he was at
caught
his
by her.
locker still, right?
Yep. He almost got caught by her, and then he got fucking caught by Ashley, and then he fucking grabbed her and said, "Don't you tell anybody." You know what I'm saying? Then he fucking coke raged.
Yep.
Like, and that did it. I
that-
felt I actually felt bad for him when he did it because he knew. I was like, man, bro, but you dug your own grave, but like shit, bro.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, man, as you know, as a middle child myself, fam, there have been times growing up where I've had that moment where it's like, don't tell any, where you say to your little sister, you're like, don't tell mom, there have been times,
Right.
I mean, where I've skipped school and
Right.
my sister covered for me, but there's been times where it's just going, where I just literally have just been so disobedient to authority, whether it be parents, teachers, whatever. And my sister's like, what are you doing? You can't. And I'm just like, don't do it. You have that moment,
That's fair.
where you
That's
kind of go too far, and your younger siblings like, what the fuck, man? Like
That's
you're
fair.
just out of control at this point. So then that's where you do have to have that self-reflection in that moment. I mean, especially being a teenager too. I mean, and being able to have that self-reflection. I can relate to that whole card situation in that. Now, when it comes to this whole drug thing, I'm gonna have the same opinion that I did a year ago after season 1, which is, why are we still doing this? Why are we still,
I
I
agree.
mean, there's so many other things you can have him be addicted to. I understand, maybe it's because they have a lot of money. We're talking about a family with wealth. So maybe, one of the bigger things when it comes to families' wealth is a drug addict. One of the kids is going to be a drug addict and stuff like that. But I mean, come on, dude, this is super generic. And I mean, we pretty much, and remember at the end of the season, there Viv is Googling rehab facilities for Carlton.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
we know we're going to get that in season 3, unfortunately.
Yep. So the drug saga of Carlton the druggie continues. Like,
It's probably going to be like the only thing I'm not really looking for, because this song has been played so many fucking times, which is why I'm just like, do we really have to do this whole drug thing all over again, where now every single time somebody around him is he gets tempted and all this other stuff, like, can we do this with anything else other than drugs or alcohol?
Right.
Please. Like that
Right.
that's been done a million fucking times. But look, Carlton has a lot more that he's dealing with this season as well. And
That's true.
like I said last season, Carlton has always been my favorite character of the show. Even the original show, Carlton was my favorite character, which is why I felt so strongly about this version of Carlton, because I'm like, what, like they made him a little sensitive in season 1, and now this season they're kind of doing the same thing, and I'm kind of getting a little just lack of a better term, annoyed by the character Carlton.
It's fair.
Just because of the decisions that they're making, like him lying, or like, remember him lying with old dude with Connor about the
like,
going
bro,
over to
like,
his parents' house and all that. Now, I've been in those situations too. Once again, relatable. It has nothing to do with being a middle child or anything, but just being relatable, just being a young man growing up. I've been in those situations a few times where you have to lie to you're like, wow, my
shit, we
parents
have
really bought
together,
that?
man. What you talking about?
Yeah.
We
I wouldn't try
literally
to
have
close
together.
I wouldn't try to expose that much, but yeah.
Shit, it's old news now.
Mega facts. But you're like, damn, wow, mom bought that? All right. Like, okay. But at the end of the day, you already know when it comes to Jeffrey, he's gonna find out, and it's eventually gonna get back to mom and pops, and then Jeffrey ain't even have to tell the parents.
Nope.
The truth eventually came out at the very end.
It's like you said it would. He called it too.
Yep. Mega facts. Now here's a moment with Carlton that really kind of spouted him out of control, not just in terms of the drugs, but in terms of his relationships as well.
Learning valuable things about civic, social, and business leadership skills. It's not about looking good or sounding good. I need to make sure that. Yo, you really gonna co-sign his bullshit?
Yeah. Yeah, so that came back from season 1 to bite them in the ass. Obviously, except
I'm
for
kind
Will,
of
'cause
glad it
Will.
did though. I ain't gonna lie.
Why?
It
Why?
was it added some realism to it. Like it
Okay.
added like I get it. All Carlton does is suffer from his own like consequences of his own actions, right?
hmm
But I don't know. I'm glad that it was at least because that's almost like forgotten, like that scene. Like at that point in the
Yeah.
show, you pretty much forgot that even happened.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
the
so like
locker room scene.
yeah, the whole locker room scene. Yeah. So when you watch it, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot about that. Like,
Yeah,
damn, they brought that shit back. So that's why I like it. I was like, damn, they brought that shit back.
a good callback.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was
It,
well placed too, right in the middle of the fucking Founders Award,
yeah,
race.
it definitely, and especially, it's weird too that happened after the whole protesting, where they were made to be these, I guess, black figures, right?
Yeah,
These, or I guess, they were made to be these figures to the black students of the school, or from that
exactly.
what kind of society? What, BSU society or something like that?
Well,
And
it's a Black Student Union, yeah, but the Founders
yeah.
Award was for like the Bel-Air Academy, and like
Oh, okay.
it's pretty much a
Yeah.
guaranteed
So
ride to any Ivy League school you want.
gotcha. Yeah, that's right. Because he was trying to get into Princeton, right?
Yeah,
And so yeah, I mean, it's funny how this happens after that whole protest. Remember, Will did that whole thing, and he was on top of the roof, and everybody,
oh my
you know,
gosh, and
and
then
then
Carlton fucking froze up.
yeah. And so now you go from one panic attack to another with Carlton. Carlton's got a lot of fucking they just give him a lot of mental issues, bro.
Yep.
And that's the reason why I'm really not rocking with the way they're doing this character, man. Um, yeah, it's to me, it's not to a point where it's like secondhand embarrassment or anything like that, but it's just like, bro, we need better depth to Carlton. And again, hopefully they have more seasons to where they can kind of, you can show that maturity and growth from Carlton, which I assume that's what that's what they're shooting for, as far as to see the growth in all these characters. But it's like, at this point, it feels like lazy writing when it's just like every single thing Carlton goes to, it's cocaine or fucking, he's fucking sweating and almost about to have a fucking panic attack.
Right.
Like the whole panic attack thing, I can kind of understand of them putting it in there and why they're putting it in there. But I feel like with all these excuses, I just did a video earlier, like all these fucking excuses of like anxiety and anxiety is a real thing. I get that, but when that's their number one fucking shoulder now, or their number one fucking excuse now is anxiety. Anything that goes wrong in your life, any mistake you make, it's slap anxiety on it, and you're all good.
I mean, yeah, that's true. It diminishes the people who actually have that shit too.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
facts.
it's like these people are just using it to get out of some shit or to make themselves look, like they got something wrong with them, so that they don't get the embarrassment. And the real reason why they're going through whatever is maybe to get a life lesson.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
mega
So
facts.
fuck that. I'm just gonna slap a hard to diagnose yet easily diagnosable no tangible
That's
not
real.
you know what I'm saying, but like it's not like a physical thing that you can see, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
certain cancers you can see, right? But
Yeah.
like you can't necessarily see anxiety unless somebody's actually having the panic attack. you
Yeah.
know? So
And I'm glad you said that, because it's one of those hard to diagnose, hard to like kind of gauge things when it comes, to, I guess, just society. Like that's why I feel like it's so easy for everybody to just say, "Oh, I got it.
yeah, basically.
I got it." But let's move on to Ashley, man, because I can complain about Carlton all fucking day, man, and I really can, and I did all season. I complained about this character the whole
So
fucking.
can we before we do that, can we talk we already did talk about it. The whole going and doing the coke vendor, car gets stolen type, that whole shit, bro. Look
Bruh.
look, Carlton and then he gave Lisa that necklace, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And then
And then fucking spazzed out after he found out that she was still kicking it with the villain of the season.
yeah.
The main villain.
The main villain.
And I ain't talking Carlton's head.
Right. I'm weak. No,
Because
okay,
I
she
mean,
was.
a,
Go
a
ahead.
a lot of the bad parts of the season was coming from just like pretty much Will getting in his own way and Carlton getting in his own way. It felt like, and then
I would
Viv, of
agree.
course,
I would
Vivian,
agree.
Aunt Viv, pretty much just assuming the worst out of everything and like getting in her own way. Like I got look, I put a
Being
note in
right
here.
about some of it, though, I give her that. They did give her that motherly instinct.
Uh,
But in
you know
some
what?
cases, in some cases, she did too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, she was someone that maybe that's I guess she is Carlton's mom, but she kind of got in her own way as well, and it was Vivian versus Vivian in a lot of ways, not
That's fair.
just Vivian versus like the old Viv, right? The
Yeah.
woman, the lady who used to play Viv, they kind of butted heads a little bit.
Right.
Then she got that promotion and kind of had that conversation with I forget her name in the show, but old Aunt Viv.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oh
it was
shit.
Vivian versus Vivian in that way as well, but it was also Vivian versus Vivian because she was in her own head. And she was also in her own head about Uncle Phil and that whole thing with his ex. Now,
Which we can get into later too.
yeah. Now, with that whole situation, we're going to get into once we talk about Uncle Phil. But I want to harp on Ashley for a minute
All
because
right.
that was another one that you already know me and what I said in the first season, and I feel like we kind of said the same thing without with saying different things. Like yours was she was barely in the show, and then the only thing they slap on her is fucking up she's bi or lesbian or whatever the fuck. That's what they did in the first season.
Mhm.
And to me, I was just like, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what it was just her running around. She's being this little SJW, whatever the fuck.
Mhm.
This season, it was turned up a little bit. She was still, I wouldn't say she was barely in the show. She was on every episode, but still very small part in the show. I feel like in the original Fresh Prince, wasn't she like more of like the one that, but other than Will, obviously, the one that kind of helped glue the family together?
A bit, yeah, and yeah, which she does a tiny bit of that now, but I would
Hmm.
say not to the degree of the old show, and nor did they give her the degree of dialogue as they gave the old Ashley.
Oh hell
Like
no,
like
man.
they gave the old Ashley had multiple relationships and all kind of shit, and like
Hmm.
she like grew up, of course, because the show did years,
Yeah,
but she had multiple relationships and shit like that. Like Ashley, like they're just now beginning to build Ashley's first relationship, and it's gonna be with a little white girl.
yeah,
which
yeah,
which for this show, I said white girl because for this show that is significant.
yeah,
Uh, because I mean, quite clearly they promote black on black everything on the show as far as they can, like all the relationships with black people, etc.
hmm,
I guess the old show was the same way, but
yeah. And I
but
mean, that's why I some of those things I just kind of don't. What's the word for it? I kind of just gloss over it a little bit
yeah,
just because the old show had some of those had some of those similarities as well.
yeah,
It had a lot of like the pro black stuff, which yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining or nothing like that. It was in some of that was in the old show, but this Ashley character, man, this shit, what they did this season was just. And then they brought the old Ashley back, and then she was a part of that storyline, and I'm just
oh
like,
yeah, as a teacher, yeah, yeah,
ah,
and
I'm
she
just
was
rolling my eyes, bro.
giving her. I mean, their way to push the LMNOP, plus minus divide and multiply. Um, they got all these fucking numbers and signals and shit after shit. And I don't even know what the fuck you can call it. LMNOP, QRSTUV, plus minus divide subtract. Anyway, that them plus uh the interracial, like, whole agenda with that as well with Ashley. Like I feel like her sole role in the show is so she does three things. She pushes agendas. She gives them she is the equivalent of what you have to do to get your show big on TV now. You have to be inclusive. So she fills that role.
Mhm.
She fills the pro black, uh black power role for that group of people as well. She's just the embodiment of all the struggle, the undertones of the struggles that they're trying to portray. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And on top of that, she doesn't really have that family glue type of vibe that the old Ashley had. Mainly because she doesn't get that much screen time. to be honest. And when she
Yeah.
does, it's one of the 3 things I mentioned. You know what I mean? Like, it's literally nothing but that.
Yeah, I mean, there's no kind of I can't say there's no kind of character development, but there's no actual character development in terms of what exactly is Ashley, not just to the family, but when she's by herself, she cannot carry any kind of storyline because she's too busy pushing an agenda. When she's with the family, at least you get somewhat of a.
Right.
But even when she's with the family, sometimes I kind of get
Right.
the feeling of like, oh, and there's Ashley. Hey,
Right.
Ashley. What did
Right.
you learn today? Or what's wrong? You know, just like that scene where it's like, Ashley, why are you so down? It's like that's the first time I think I probably ever seen Uncle Phil talk to Ashley on this show. Uh, it's like, oh yeah, I do have another daughter. What's wrong? Oh, your teacher got fired. Oh yeah, let's let your mom handle that. And then
Yeah.
that was that.
No, they
So-
did. So, sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say they did do one like traditional female thing with her, and that was when they had the influencer party with the football party, and her friend left or whatever, and her friend,
Hillary's friend.
Hillary's friend left,
Mhm.
and Ashley subbed in and was like did like the whole like, you know, skimpy-ish clothing. You know what I'm saying? They kept it within reason, but the skimpy-ish clothing.
Yeah.
And did the whole football thing versus the football players for Hillary's social media posts or whatever. But that I mean, and even she was like, "See, it's not so bad, huh?" And she had Hillary said to Ashley, like, "See, it wasn't so bad, was it?" And then basically saying like, "Look, you can be girly too," type shit.
Yeah,
Like, she said something like, "You don't have to always be saving the world."
Fact. Even I was gonna say that whole part was cringe though.
Yeah, that was cringy as
that was
fuck.
cringe as
It was
fuck.
hella cringy. I was kind of like, I'm sitting there like,
Yeah, I was sitting there watching it. I was like, do I fast forward or is this gonna be ending soon? I just I was like, I don't know how I feel about saying.
I was like,
I was cringe as fuck, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, they had to do this. Like they there was no other fucking ideas in the writing room than to do this. Like,
right. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about that scene. But yeah, Ashley's just, I mean, she's there to fill the agendas. There, she's just there to check that box off. In my opinion, that's all they really use her for. So
facts. Excuse me. To be honest, man, I have no care for Ashley in season 3. I mean, unless they do something better for Ashley, I have no fucking care for Ashley going into season 3. I really don't.
They don't allow you to have any. They don't give her enough. There's not enough there. Like I said, she's literally just there to make certain groups feel included.
Facts.
That's really it. They make it pretty obvious too.
I was about to say representation. Representation. There you go, Ashley.
Y'all need representation, Ashley. Yep, go ahead. That's all they're doing. I mean, which is crazy to me, but you know,
yeah,
it is what it is. She's the youngest. Crazy. Obviously, they're gonna, you know, she's like, was she like 13 or 14?
Something like that. I mean, I don't even think she's even at like 16 on that show yet, which is crazy with the shit that they're doing. But again, I mean, are we surprised?
No, not even.
Now, the next aspect I want to talk about this is the whole Jazz and Hillary situation, man.
Oh yeah,
I guess that whole love triangle, right? Because now we got this guy in the mix.
It's all or nothing for me, which is why I'm not going to stop until I get Hillary back.
What was that? I thought y'all was like, cool like that.
I mean, that's what I told her. I'm playing the friend role for now, but I'll get back in there. When I do, I'm not letting her go again.
Imagine being Jazz's boy and having to talk to somebody and them saying that, and you still got to go back to Jazz, kick it with Jazz, and that's a tough position to be in, man.
I'll get back in there.
I'm not gonna lie, man. Look, there's no doubt that the actor, that dude's a good actor, but I'm just like, man, that dude's cheesy as hell, bro.
He is, but honestly,
he was cheesy as hell, bro.
But his whole thing, I can't knock dude's hustle at all, bro.
No, hell no, man.
Like I can't knock it at all.
The
What you say?
determination.
Right. The man is determined, and he's genuine with it too. Like, he's just trying to do, like, I guess what has worked for him. But which that's all you can ask at the end of the day, right?
Yeah,
But
facts.
like, clearly he could be going for anybody else too. I mean, so hey,
Dude took her to France.
the last episode she dipped out. I said, I was watching and I was like, when they did that scene where the door knocks.
Oh
At the
yeah,
same time as it could, and as where Hillary had to make the decision.
yeah. And Jazz
And
opened
Jazz opens the door. He was like, I was like, that ain't fucking her. Motherfucking UPS delivery at fucking 9 o'clock at night. Like, yeah, right, bro.
bro.
But gave the fucking package. Like, he was like,
I was like, bro. No. The one that got me was when he threw that party, and then he kept looking back at the door. And then she wouldn't show up, and then she showed up, and then as soon as I'm like, bro, how many times has that happened in life? Not necessarily that exact situation, but where you've been in a situation like that where you're like, damn, she gonna text me, damn, she gonna whatever the fuck,
yeah,
back,
bro.
whatever. And then the moment you move on, or the moment you got some other joint
do
from your
something
lineup,
else, just take your mind off of it. There it is.
And then boom.
That happened a lot growing up. A lot.
I was just like, bro, Jazz cannot catch a fucking break, man. And then I honestly wanted to clip. I didn't have enough time to get that clip, but where he meets Phil and Vivian and Aunt Vivian.
Oh,
and
God.
they all surprised and shocked. I thought that they're gonna look, man. It would have been hella cheesy, and I'm glad they didn't do it. But I thought for a minute, I was like, yo, are they really gonna have Uncle Phil throw him outside of the house? Like, throw him out the house? I was like, yeah, that might be a perfect callback, but they didn't do that. They didn't do that. And shout out to them for not taking the bait on that. At least just
yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's way more cordial with Jazz than he was in the old show, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta admit, Jazz is not as goofy.
No, hell no.
As the old.
No. Jazz is actually like really like one of the coolest characters on there.
Yeah.
Like for me, between Jazz and Jeffrey, those are probably my two favorite characters. And I really like the way they did Uncle Phil too. So
yeah. Uncle Phil he's definitely a real one, man.
Yeah,
he's definitely a fucking real one, bro.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, look, Hillary. It wasn't too much with Hillary once we got more into the season. I think it was just more with the relationship type stuff because she kind of had the whole influencer thing down pat. Now, I mean, obviously, there's still some similarities between her and Aunt Viv when it comes to the social media thing because we saw Aunt Viv.
Oh yeah, she had a whole social media revolution. Yeah.
Yep. And she was like, "Oh, she was talking to Carlton. She was like, I used social media yesterday and got my point across, and now so many people." And that's another thing too, is that this show did kind of display, and I don't even want to say, should I say positive, but it displayed like a positive reaction to putting yourself out there on social media. I mean, obviously, we're right here on social media live right now, but you know what I mean. Like, there's pros and cons to it. The way she did it and the way they put that into the show, and for her bosses to respond to it and say, "Oh, now we're going to, promote you. We want you on a part of the board and all this other stuff." How did you feel about all that? And them using social media to kind of determine for them to make that decision.
It's unfortunate, but that's the way of the world right now. I mean, that's the way for the average unheard soft-spoken person to get a quick, get a quick come up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say that to like make it sound trash, because I mean there's a lot of genuine shit that people actually do, come up off social media on.
Yeah.
I guess obviously the show portraying one of those things, right? But
yeah,
I think I'm not mad that they did it like that, because if you put the work in social media and you got the right sauce, I mean you can come up off of it, I guess, right? But I mean, like you and I, we say controversial things, so therefore, I mean, what she's doing is the opposite of controversial. It's a little bit of victim mixed with a lot of talent, mixed with vulnerability, and people love vulnerability on social media.
Yeah.
So like if you show your vulnerable side, if you talk about something that happened to you that somebody can relate to, that I mean that's you're gonna fucking you know what I mean, you're gonna take off, especially if you're in Aunt Viv's case a black woman complaining about while not getting represented in art and shit. I mean that's gonna blow up. You know what I mean? It's just one of them things.
Because I want to talk about because there's a line that I actually took out of this. She said, "When is it my time to feel valued and wanted?" And she did this while on Facebook Live or IG Live, whatever fuck kind of live she was on.
Yep.
And to me, I immediately thought to myself, this scene between Viv and Uncle Phil.
I was trying to find the right time to tell you, but you were so busy with the art show.
Then why don't we make now the right time?
Now. But the family. Look, with everything that's been going on with my firm, word is getting out, so it's only natural that people are going to come looking for me.
And Erica is one of those people.
And she's working in L.A. She wants me to consider an offer with her firm.
Oh, seriously?
Which is why I didn't bother bringing it up. I promise you, I'm not going to make any big moves without talking it out with you first.
So, you want to talk about being valued and wanted and all this other stuff. At the beginning of the season, first episode of season 2, you see an interaction between Phil and Aunt Viv. She's valued. She's clearly wanted. Yep. By the end of this season, or towards the end of the season, she puts that shit on social media, talking about not being valued, not being wanted. Then turns out to be one of the villains to me. And again, this is me just making this up, just based off of what. But to me, she turns into one of the main villains of the season. Ooh. And the reason being is because of not just what we've been talking with the whole, posting on social media, talking about not being valued and shit like that, but then spewing that same vibe, aura, energy, whatever you want to call it, onto everyone else around her, onto Phil, not being valued or wanted it. And you kind of see that sprinkled down to Hillary as well, to the way she treated Jazz.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing all this other stuff not being valued, wanted a little bit with the way how soft spoken she is. And look, I actually like how soft spoken she is. I actually like that she's not someone that's like continuously yelling or very aggressive. I do like that. But
very nice.
At the end of the day, you still like she needs those strong words, and I feel like her words for a strong Black mom on television and using the Bel-Air name, I feel like she needs to have a stronger, at least like a stronger, not personality per se, or I guess you could probably say personality, but just a stronger touch, I guess, emotionally when it comes to everybody around her, including, or I should say, especially Uncle Phil. Because that whole situation, I mean, I knew that was coming. I knew the whole kiss thing was coming where,
man.
His ex, Uncle Phil's ex was going to kiss him, and I knew that shit was going to happen.
Yeah, she was just running game the whole fucking time, man.
She was. And this whole time I'm thinking maybe Uncle Phil has to be making a rational decision. But I think the reason why they did that is because they kind of wanted to show, like, look, men, when hey, sometimes we do fall. Like, I'm not saying we're gonna cheat on a wife or no shit like that. But what I'm saying is, like, we still, married or not, we're gonna find women attractive, especially having his ex girl. She's the head of a fucking firm. Nice. They're trying to merge the law firms. They tried snatching them from his own law firm. So now at the end of all this, they're celebrating whatever. Like, I can get the situation that they're putting him in, because it's a very common, now not the whole like partners merging together kind of thing. That's probably not common, but being an adult male and running into your ex while also being after so many years,
especially that's controversial of an ex.
Yeah, that's a commonality, man. Like that happens more often than people think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So being in that situation, I'm actually kind of glad they did that. The whole kiss thing, I wouldn't have done that, but I can see you kind of need to give Uncle Phil a little bit of something to battle, right? Some mental or emotional battle going into season 3.
Right.
And I think this one's going to be it.
Right. I do too. It's going to rock some shit. You can guarantee that. It's going to rock some shit.
Aunt Viv somehow is going to find out, because remember, not Jazz. I keep wanting to call him Jeffrey was there.
Mm-hmm. He was like, "Don't worry about this. I just gotta play her game. I got this. Like, don't worry about it, bro."
And you
Jeffrey
saw
said,
where he wiped the lipstick off his mouth when
Mhm,
Jeffrey showed up. And yeah.
that might be something. But I do want to say the way Uncle Phil finessed that fucking deal with the two firms was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like he ended up working that shit out so that the firm that he
Everybody's happy.
started, his homie, they got the contract that they wanted, kept him straight, kept his homie running it, and then ended up getting what was best for him and getting the money and the deal over the other spot too. Like I was just like, bro, like that's how you fucking do that shit. I was
I'm
like,
glad
that's
they
why,
wrote that in there, man.
yeah. I was like, damn, I'm glad that worked out because I was wondering what was going to happen with that shit.
Boss
Because
move.
I would have hated for him to have to burn that bridge with the firm that
Yeah.
he started, you know.
Yeah, especially when they had that whole get together thing that I
Yeah,
guess like anniversary or celebration or whatever it was, where they talked about like they started with the three of them, old dude died, and then they kind of it kind of gave them that drive to keep going and keeping
yeah,
that firm alive and up and running.
facts,
So
facts,
I love that whole story, man.
facts.
Because at first the way they introduced his partner, it kind of introduced him as like kind of like some kind of sleazeball, but then you realize, oh no,
Right,
hey, he was trying to do what was better for the fucking company.
right. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, they did.
yeah.
They did. And he said, and Uncle Phil said some real shit too in the last episode with him and Carlton. Remember when he the first time you see him shed a tear the whole time?
Oh
Uncle
yeah,
Phil,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he was like, why is everybody's mistakes blamed on me and shit? I was like, damn, I felt that. I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the way to being a man, a patriarch.
Facts. Facts.
Like I felt that shit. I was like,
He
damn,
said,
bro.
and then like he just that's another thing too, because all that frustration was built up, man. And he was just like,
Exactly.
he was like, fuck, what did he say that really he was like, when am I gonna get fucking recognized? Or what the fuck did he say?
Oh, he
God,
was like, he was like, why is it that I'm getting like, what the hell was it? Like
ridicule for doing
ridicule for providing you all a better life or some shit like that. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
For wanting to give everybody a better life or some shit. I was like,
yeah.
bro,
I was like,
I
damn.
was like, that's what I was thinking the whole fucking time, yo.
right. A bunch of ungrateful motherfuckers, and he just putting up with it. Like,
Yeah.
God damn, bro.
Now, I want to get to Jeffrey and the Phil reconciliation as well.
That was dope
Because
too.
a big thing that played a part in that was Jeffrey. What happened last season? Because where we left off with last season was that Jeffrey left. He left the family. He was pretty
Yeah.
much fired from Phil because of getting Will in contact with his dad.
Yep.
And then little did we know, Jeffrey has a son himself, which is why he felt in the way he did, which is why he did what he did last season with bringing Will's dad around. And that whole thing happened, as we all know. But then we get to season 3, and Jeffrey not only reconciles his relationship with Phil, but now he's got a son. He meets his son. And to be honest, to do what they did with the son in that episode, I think it was episode 4 or 5 or something like that.
Oh, when he showed up, was that 4 or 5? Really?
Yeah, where the son showed up, and then that whole where they're in the pool, not the, what do you call it? In the pool room with the pool table, or I guess the game room, whatever. And he's talking to Jeffrey. He's like, man, all this time I needed you. You were with another family. He's like, all these people speaking so highly of you. I wish I could say the same, blah, 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 whatever. And then, but here's another thing. So little old me, I've been watching movies and shows my whole life. And this happens a lot, but I did not think this is how good, again, at times good the writing is on the show. Because I was not thinking that the son was going to come back. Which, by the way, that's Cyborg for people who don't know. The guy that plays Cyborg in Titans on HBO Max, that's him. That's his son. That's
Oh wow. Okay. Yep.
Good actor. Good. I didn't know he was British either. So that's a funny thing. But yeah. So he comes back and he's like, look, man. He's like, flight's delayed. Came in, spend time with, the pops that I never had, whatever. I thought it was a great moment, man. And you see the look.
Yeah.
Like, I love how they do this, man. And I'm glad they showed this. It's just the little things when it comes to the show that really is just like, some things take me back and I'm just like, man, this shit is awful. And then there's times like this where I'm like, This is amazing. Because they really capitalize on the face of Jeffrey when his son's sitting there playing pool with him, and you see just a little bit of happiness in his face that they
Yep.
haven't really
Yep.
shown at all on the show. Like they
Yep.
seen him happy on the show. You seen him smile, laugh, joke, and all other
Yeah.
stuff. Be there for the kids, be there for Viv, be there for Phil. One thing we haven't seen though is to see that twinkle in his
Yep.
eyes
Yep.
when his son shows back up
Facts.
and Jeffrey's sitting there with the pool stick, and he's like, man, this is
Facts.
just amazing. And now we never see the son ever again on the rest of the season, at least. I don't know if he's ever going to come back in the show or whatever. And they kind of hinted it at the end with that picture.
Yeah,
But
I think Jeffrey's old gang is after.
Yeah. Me too. when that happened, I was like, are they gonna do like a spinoff? Like are they gonna? Is this gonna be like Top Boy or something like that? Like, is this gonna be another Top Boy? You got Jeffrey going back to the streets of England and fucking taking care of business.
Top Boy, fucking Top Boy.
Top Boy. We run this shit, yeah.
We run this shit, yeah. Is Oz in it?
You're gonna run that money, isn't it? You're gonna run those shoes for me, yeah?
I'm done. But yeah, that's what it's gonna turn into.
but all jokes aside, man, I love Jeffrey's character on this show.
Yeah.
I love how badass they make it. Like they make this dude into. I watched the review that we did last year, and you use the perfect word. You use the word savage.
Yeah,
that's exactly what he is. He's a fucking savage, man. I mean, to the way they dealt with Doc and old dude, where old dude trying to walk outside the and Jeffrey pulled up was like, nah, you gonna stay here till we get this.
He said, no, I don't think the conversation's over. I don't think the conversation's over. He fucked him up with that shit,
bro. You know what I did, bro? You know what I did? I grabbed my controller, I hit that rewind. I was like, I gotta watch that shit again.
Yeah, bro. He said that one.
He said,
conversation's over. That nigga said, I was like, oh shit, bro.
Old dude hit that wall back. He said,
Yo, I had to sign something. Oh, okay, all right. My bad. That's what he did. I had to sign a contract.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody said, show me the contract.
Show me the contract.
Right here. Okay. He looked. That nigga looked at it, saw the money. He said, he took the pen, signed that shit. I was like, damn, it must have been an offer he couldn't refuse.
Bro, I'm telling you, man. So sometimes this show just be having me dead, bro.
I know, dude.
Have me fucking dead.
I know, bro.
Speaking of,
go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, since we were talking about Doc and that whole situation, his character actually pleasantly surprised me because I really didn't want him to be a bad guy, and it turns out he wasn't.
Yeah,
he just was
in a bad situation.
Yeah, it just in a bad situation. So I like that part of it too. He was the coach of essentially the AAU team, of the equivalent of an AAU team coach.
How are we? So how are we feeling about Jackie and Lisa and Will and that whole thing? Because
I mean, everybody's been through that, right? It's like, well, I've been in that position, in Will's position before.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously I understood both. I understood the way it's like the girl. It's like you can't be with the girl you want, but you're a dude. So this other fine girl you're gonna want too. But it's like, damn, that ended up fucked up, and then now you're back on the girl you originally wanted, but then she coming back. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's another real life situation on this show. Like,
with the whole Jackie thing, after that whole drunk incident, I think I would have stepped off.
Yeah, that would have been
because to me, at least now.
But again, 17 years old, bro.
I'm about to say, let's say 15 years ago, I was around. Yeah, I was around.
Bro, you know,
like 15 years ago, I was still making them same stupid decisions. So I'm
right.
I kind of get it, man. I kind of get that whole thing because Jackie, she fine. Like she,
right?
Like, she cute. She like real cute. And I'm like, all right, I see you out here real like. But at the same time, you got Lisa. She fine.
Who's also fine.
And she made some real stupid decisions though this season.
Yeah, she did. Which kind she kind of dug her own grave too a little bit.
Mega
And then
facts.
like was fucking around with the lame dude that Carlton beat up, and then like all he had to do was just say some dumb shit, and then she got back and jumped back in his arms, quote unquote. Like I'm like, I didn't quite understand that.
This is someone else's problem now. You've been coming for Carlton since the first day we walked into the BSU meeting. What? And then he whooped your ass. You're the one who airdropped the video. You're welcome.
He said,
Yeah. That to me, this dude was the main villain of the season. I mean, this dude just caused straight havoc.
Yeah, he wreaked some havoc, bro.
Season.
I mean, he was the reason that Carlton ended up doing everything he did. When you think about it, like somebody with no actual self-control, he was a catalyst for all that shit.
Yep. And then after seeing Carlton hook up with Connor with getting coke, guess what he did? He ran and told that.
Yep.
Ran and told fucking Lisa.
We need that little, that cartoon emote, that cartoon sound. I can't remember what from, like Bugs Bunny or some shit.
Oh yeah,
that joint.
Yeah.
They skedaddle, bro.
Yep. He said, "Oh, all right, let me go tell Lisa."
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that character. What was his name? Drew, right? Like I didn't like that character at all, bro, man. Like, no. I mean, you need him there, obviously,
right.
to, shake shit up and to kind of, bring that, turmoil, within, the, friends of the, and students. But season 3, I feel like this character has more to do in season 3, man. I feel like he ain't going nowhere, bro.
I don't need, But even though Carlton pretty much admitted everything he was trying to like prove, even still, I mean, he was calling Carlton a fraud. He's like, "You've been a fraud. You'd always been a fraud." Blah blah. Carlton like, "Shit, bro. I guess I had."
And then to find out, and then
Will said he was,
right.
you hurting yourself, and people were picking up on Carlton's bullshit this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he had to come clean. Come clean. He had to come clean.
He did. Now, would you have rather him come clean after that? So, like, I get why they did that during the ceremony. That way, it's an easier way for everybody. It's the last episode of the season, so I'm sure they want to do it a different way,
right?
And not do that in front of everybody in the whole fucking, pretty much the whole school,
right?
And his family, and then that whole thing happened. But then you did have Uncle Phil blow up on him and kind of. And here's another small thing too. Now, I hope people don't take this wrongly, but it's his half-ass pod. So, y'all already know how I think. Y'all already know how the kind of person I am. But to see at least a little bit of respect of Uncle Phil that Uncle Phil gets whenever he says, "Viv, let me speak." When Viv's trying to, when he got frustrated with Carlton,
that's true.
Trying to interject, and he's like, "Yo, let Viv.
I'm not done."
Let me fucking speak. Like it's some of those weird things, especially growing up and my dad being like one of those very stern people. Like when he speaks, you listen. So walking into that room and you still kind of gave me some flashbacks as a kid of like walking into the kitchen and your dad got his back turned to you, so you fucking did something wrong. So now you're standing there like,
Yep.
Time to come clean. So I mean,
bro.
Again, man, it's just, and even when it comes to Aunt Viv, and having Carlton, he doesn't want to disappoint either one of his parents. So it's not like he doesn't just want to. He just doesn't want to disappoint his dad. He doesn't want to disappoint Viv either.
Right.
And that's just another one of those things where it's like you don't really understand some of these things unless you've lived in a family with those kind of values.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I definitely felt it a lot in the second half of this season, most definitely.
Oh yeah.
And then Uncle Phil. Now, Uncle Phil at the beginning of this season they kind of foreshadowed what Will is going to be going through this season. This is, I believe, the last clip that I have to show us. and we're gonna talk about Will here in a second.
But for now, I'd advise you to be careful about who you listen to and why they're all in your business in the first place.
That pretty much foreshadowed everything that was going to happen in season 2, man.
Yep.
Because
Pretty much.
with everybody in Will's ear, from Doc to Uncle Phil to his friends, and I remember Will wasn't on good terms with Uncle Phil at the beginning of the season. So you kind of had Jazz in his ear trying to help him get back with this, back in good graces with Uncle Phil and all, and
Yep.
he wasn't about it. Not Phil. Will was a very stubborn person this season.
Very.
More stubborn than I kind of wanted him to be, because at times he shows all of this fucking maturity, and at other times he shows like zero fucking maturity.
Yep.
And it's just like,
yep.
I'm like, bro, we need a fucking balance, man. Like, you can't go from 0 to 1,000 every fucking time with Will, because that's gonna handicap the character later on down the road.
Exactly.
But I mean, how did you feel Will and his maturity, or I guess lack thereof, this season?
I think they made up for it about as good as they could when he called his when he called his mom and was crying.
Oh yeah.
Because she called it out like he was looking for validation, looking for acceptance from everything outside of himself. Like, trying to prove his worth by everything that he could either do or what he thought would make him look more like a man, or whatever the case will get him further in basketball, which obviously is something that he wants to do, but he's putting the faith in that all outside of him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But so would you ask me what I thought of him this season, or what I thought of
like his maturity, him being, just the progression of his character this season.
I think they ended on a good note with him. I think he progressed. I think he progressed, and then so basically at the end of season 1, I wasn't really happy with how they left his character.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, here we go with this dumb shit again, right?
Yeah.
And then
here we go with this dumb shit again.
Right. And they started the season off, and then he had the moments of maturity, mostly immaturity, and then the way they built up the whole Doc thing in the AAU ball after he got suspended from the team was kind of like, okay, he's just being dumb. And then the way they made the AAU coach seem all shady and shit.
Yeah.
It made it look like what Will was doing was worse. But even in that, he kept it real. He told me, he was like, he looked at me, was like, I trust you. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's very like, in certain moments, in certain situations, he's very wise. Mm-hmm. But in other situations, it's like, bro, you don't even know like what the fuck are you even doing? For instance, with him and Lisa at the hospital, waiting on fucking her dad's wife's baby or whatever. Yeah. And he was supposed to go see Jackie. Like, you could have easily just fucking said something, but instead they made him act like he forgot. But when he's in a situation with Doc man to man talking about future, he says all the right things, does all the right,
straightforward
moves, straightforward, etc. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So, I mean, again, I think they developed him well. I think what happened with his mom at the end of the show needed to happen. Yeah, and she told him to look inside yourself for the answer, not outside. And then it just like it cleared his fucking head, and then he was like putting people on and like doing all this stuff, and like got respect of his high school of the Bel-Air school coach back, and was looking out for the team.
Be validated by anybody else. That was the main takeaway from that whole thing as well, where he's like, man, I'm getting pulled from this direction, I'm getting pulled from that direction.
Yeah,
I got homegirl over here, fine as hell. I got homegirl over here, fine as hell.
Right.
And still, like, emotionally, he's being pulled everywhere. When it comes to like his daily life, like, Will is, whether he even realizes it or not, he's dependent on probably the second most dependent on person on the show.
Yeah.
Other than Uncle Phil.
Next to Uncle Phil, exactly.
I mean, people are really depending on him, maybe not financially, obviously, but emotionally. everybody. I mean, he's got to be there for Carlton, who's fucked up. He's got to
Mhm.
be there for Ashley, who, whatever.
Which
And he's
Tim?
got to be, huh?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Who else? Go ahead.
He's got to be there for Hillary at times because that whole thing with
Yeah.
got to be there for Jazz as well.
Yeah.
Kind
Yeah.
of play that facilitator kind of role as well between his cousin and his I guess at this point best friend.
Facts. Yeah.
So I mean he's got a lot of people depending on him, bro.
That's
And
facts.
I cannot remember because remember we have to remember that the old show Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was more of like a sitcom feel. So it was more like an episode by episode kind of thing rather than
Yeah.
this is like one long term story. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
like there is like different payoffs, there's different solutions to stuff. So I get that part, but he's definitely pulled in a lot of fucking directions. And they're trying to show what he's going through and what someone mentally, emotionally, and even sometimes physically goes through when having to be dependent on so much by
So much.
everyone. And then we also saw at the very end of the season where Lisa pulled up on him. Remember, I think what was it at the beach where she put up on him? She was like, "Look, you were there for me. Let me be there for you." You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And I was like,
He was
"Holy
trying to
shit!"
push her weight in. Yep. Yep.
And I'm like, "Bruh, like, just being somebody that's been in different relationships and different, just stuff." And I'm just like, "Bruh, whew, that's a hell of a fucking line. Like,
Facts.
that's one hell of a fucking line." I'm like,
Facts.
look, hey, Jackie's bad as hell, but I'm like, look, at the end of the day, Lisa is like they made the character Lisa at the end of the day. Like, again, she's had her fucking flaws too. She's been
Right.
stupid in this season at
Right.
times. But for them to give her that line and her for to pull up on one and say, "Let me be there for you, you were there for me," blah blah whatever. I was like, bro, they made Lisa a real one, bro.
They did. I'm
Yeah,
glad they
like you,
did.
you ain't gonna find many women like that in this day and age, bro.
Nah, not.
Huh.
Then you definitely not.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I said, I'm glad they did. One thing I also found interesting was the lack of dialogue between Hillary and Carlton.
Oh yeah.
They really don't have any. I can't remember one-on-one conversation they had this entire season.
Yeah.
There's all these lines. I feel like there's all these lines connecting all these characters together, but Hillary and Carlton, I don't think there's even any. There's no dialogue. I can't think of anything that they said to get. I mean, I might be forgetting something or missing something, but they seem to
No,
be
you're
the
right.
two
There,
people
there,
who
wa- there wasn't much
communicated the
dialogue.
least.
Yeah, I mean, because Will's got all this dialogue with all three of them.
Yeah,
But when it comes to Carlton and Ashley, you had a little bit. They had a little bit of
they've
interaction.
got more. They've got a decent
Um,
amount, I'd say.
in this season,
Carlton and Ashley, they had for the amount of dialogue that Ashley has in general, most I'd say a decent
yeah,
amount
that's
of
true.
those.
That's true. That's true.
I'd say yeah. She don't
Because
talk to
because
many people and shit, but
a lot of the times we see them like they have like those breakfast scenes, right, where they're like it's first thing in the morning, and then normally they'll have like breakfast, and you'll see like everybody at the table, and Hillary's usually
yeah,
standing up making something or whatever the fuck.
yeah,
A wild Hillary appears,
right.
and so I mean I understand. Yeah, I mean that's one thing I didn't really catch either is that they didn't really have too much interaction. Um, yeah, that is kind of. But I feel like the reason for that is just because they're trying to pretty much build these characters on their own with their own fucking stories, and then like at the end of the day have them have that interaction with the family members. But yeah, I feel like Hillary and Carlton. That's one thing they do need to fix is Hillary and Carlton to have more dialogue next
Yeah,
season. Um, especially since they're the ones closer in age, anyways. I don't know why they
that's
don't
what's
have
surprising.
much dialogue. Now, when Jackie that night after she got drunk and she came back and apologized to Will, they made her act very weird. And I will say this though, credit to the writers because I thought they were going to go into a completely. I'm not going to say what the direction was, but I thought they were going to go into a completely different direction with that whole her getting drunk and all other stuff scene.
Yeah,
I'm glad it didn't go that direction. Because the two dudes that rode with Will, and I know this kind of random, but the two dudes that the teammates that rode with Will and his what was it? He had like a Lexus, I think it was.
Yeah, 2 dudes
Um,
from the basketball team. Yeah,
yeah, they were kind of acting a little bit shady, and I thought some shady shit was gonna happen. Like I thought they were either gonna like leave Will, like literally leave Will, or something bad was gonna happen.
or lead them somewhere shitty or something. Yeah,
Yeah, or they were gonna let something, you know what I mean? Like just it was just so many things running through my mind
yeah.
through that entire scene, and I was just like, oh man, I really don't hope they don't go this route.
And-
They went the mild route, and I'm glad they went that route. Um, with her just getting drunk and then Will just taking her home and whatever. But she still showed her ass. She still acted disrespectful in my opinion. Um, but when she came back the very next day, this was my reaction. This was definitely my reaction.
Okay.
If you don't get that bullshit out of my face, bitch.
That was my fucking reaction. I'm like, fam,
I feel that.
you can't pull up to you can't have me pull up to a party, meet you. You already drunk. You acting disrespectful as shit. And the next day you want to come apologize to me. I'm like, I got 4 other bitches on my lineup. I'm good.
Right. Right.
I'm good.
I'm straight. Especially in Will's case, he got fucking Lisa. Like, bruh.
Yeah.
He could have easily just did, but of course, I understand why he wouldn't have just left her. I wouldn't have left her either, right? But
No. I wouldn't meant like left her at the party, but I meant like after that night when she came back and was like, "Oh, I
yeah,
apologize. I'm sorry. That's not usually me." Blah blah. I'm just like,
yeah,
bruh. I've only known you for how long, and then you get drunk, you act crazy and shit. Like I'm good. Like just me personally, I'm good on that. Like I'm good on that, fam.
yeah.
But I do want to ask as we're winding down here, I do want to ask another thing though. To go
Okay.
back on what was that? What was old dude's name? Was it Lamarcus or something like that? Hillary's ex.
Yeah, I think it's Lamarcus. Yeah.
So one of the things I didn't like that Uncle Phil did. All right, because I talk about how well written he is on the show, how great he is as I think it's a good way to portray a black male in a position of power on television. I think that like the way they've done this character, great. One thing I didn't like that he did, all right, was why did this dude bring Hillary's ex-boyfriend to the family fucking reunion? Knowing damn well
Right.
just 2 days ago,
Right. That shit.
you just saw Jazz with your daughter, bro. So my
Yeah.
question to you
That shit was dumb.
is
That's fair.
my question to you is, uh look, I've had some stupid shit happen to me where I'm just like, yo, what the fuck? When I've been in relationships and stuff like that, or when I'm dating chicks.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in Jazz's position, are you leaving or are you staying? Like when you get to that position where your girl's dad brings her ex around, feels so comfortable enough to bring her ex around so casually, like it's nothing. Are you staying or are you leaving?
Ooh.
Hey, we ain't casting in a few months, man. So
You ain't lying. You gotta hit me with that.
question, bro.
You ain't lying. Damn, what like staying and leaving the party?
No relationship.
Oh, okay.
All right,
I
well,
would
we
definitely.
can do party as well if you want to answer that.
So the party would depend on how drunk I was at that moment that it happened. If I wasn't that drunk, I'd probably sober up and dip. Honestly, oh yeah, I'm out. Like whatever. But it would depend on like how she felt about him. Like now, I'm not saying it would depend on how she felt him because she'd be making a decision. I'm just saying like if her dad brought the ex to the party and she didn't want him there either, then I mean that's more of a position where I'd be more comfortable being like, okay, well, if she don't want the nigga here, why is he here? She could go talk to her dad or something like, or we could leave or whatever. But if she's acting the way Hillary was acting, first off, I wouldn't be at the party with her anyway. Second off, if I was, I probably would. Yeah, I probably would be done at that point. Like if she was as wishy washy as Hillary is with the shit, yeah, I'd be gone. But if she was like, I don't know why dad brought him, like, dad, I told you, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Then I'll be like, all right, fine. I mean, I understand that. But
Yeah,
because parents be doing some weird shit sometimes.
yeah, facts, man.
Especially if they're like cool with, yeah, chicken.
Yeah,
I've seen that happen before. Or yeah.
I've had that happen to me before where not to get too personal, but to where this chick I was dating at the time, I was at work. I think I came through after I was at work, and her mom brought over her ex-boyfriend who used to bring them firewood, and motherfucker was unloading firewood in her driveway.
Yep.
Cut off shirt and everything. I'm just sitting there like in my work uniform, like, bruh, like what the fuck do I do?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
how you
so
doing, bro? What's your name? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck you gonna do? Like,
yeah, man. Like, I was like, bro, what the fuck, man? Like me personally, I just hate being in situations like that. I hate
for
it.
sure. For sure.
But yeah, I mean, look, the way they did this one, I thought it was a good way. I just thought putting Uncle Phil in that position to be the one, like Aunt Viv, you can kind of understand, like, oh, you know, she's kind of oblivious in some ways, just being a woman. But Uncle Phil, I just thought that was so out of character, bro.
Yeah, I really did too. Yeah.
I was like,
But
Uncle
he knew
Phil's
what he was doing
not that
because
oblivious, man. Like,
so I can put it like this too. Like the equivalent of him doing that was him throwing Jazz out the front door for 2 seasons straight. You know what I'm saying? Like,
damn. Okay.
you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like the equivalent of him bringing her ex who had all this history, obviously wants to get back with her, etc. Uncle Phil doing the dirty work after they had met Jazz and been introduced to Jazz as her boyfriend.
Okay.
Then he brings him in, like, yeah, that he threw that nigga out the front door like 10 times with that shit, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Holy shit, man. I didn't even think of that, man. I didn't even look at it that way.
I didn't either till just now.
What was Jazz at that favorite? Was he at that joint when he was there, right?
Yeah, he was there. Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. God damn, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, that was out of character for Uncle Phil, bro. For real.
It was. For this Uncle Phil, yes, very.
Yeah.
Other Uncle Phil never really liked Jazz, but for this Uncle Phil, yeah.
How do you go ahead?
No, go ahead.
No, you had another point, right? Go.
I was just gonna say, shit, I don't even remember anymore. Something about this Uncle Phil has always been like respected, has always respected Jazz. This Uncle Phil.
Yeah.
Which to me, this Jazz demands more respect than the other Jazz.
Than the other one, yeah.
Fair. So
because again, and no respect to Jazzy Jeff. Obviously.
Right. No, yeah, no.
But the way the character was portrayed, like the way he was done was he was supposed to be goofy, funny, you know, etc.
Kind of slow, like
yeah.
Yeah.
This one, you know, he a little more swagged out. Like when they say more modern, see, this is why I hate when these companies and these marketing companies use these words like modernize and stuff like that. Because when you talk about a modernized reboot, this is what they mean. This is what they should mean, which is modernize, literally. Facts. Not just let's put in agenda A, agenda B, propaganda 1, 2, 3, and let's push all this shit in one show, and then they wonder why
the entirety of the show.
Yeah. And then they wonder why they have to get canceled after 1 or 2 seasons.
Right. Because
they don't know how to actually write characters. They don't know how to actually write a fucking story. This one in particular, man, I gotta say, I mean, in terms of season, but compared to season 1, what would you say season 2 is? Is season 2 better?
In my opinion, better.
Better?
I think it's better. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to
say better.
I'm gonna have to go with season 1. Just being a little bit better, just because that after that first episode that I didn't like, like the very first episode of the show I didn't like.
Yeah.
Episode 2 of season 1 brought me into the show, and then it was a go from there. Season 2 took some time for me to like. That's why Jaron, I don't even think I even like. I'll hit you up every week when I watch it, but we wouldn't really get into any kind of discussion until like episode 6, where I was like, "Yo, this was the first."
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
Really good episode.
That's fair. Yeah,
because I'm sitting there those first 5 episodes. I'm sitting there like, I mean, it was all right. Like it was uneventful, because remember the storylines didn't really kick off, or at least pay off, until 6. Like they didn't really get into real in-depth.
That's fair.
Situations until episode 6.
Fair.
Did any characters go from like, in terms of your ranking of the characters, or how much you like them, or your favorites, or anything? Any of them changed from season 1 to season 2?
Jeffrey went up. I like Jeffrey more this season.
100%.
some of the ones that were introduced, like Doc, it definitely started low and went high. Pause, or whatever the fuck is that's a pause. I don't know. I would say Hillary went down for me. I felt a little bit more highly about Hillary in season 1 than I did in season 2. Yeah, I think Uncle Phil went up. Aunt Viv went down for me as well. She was kind of, at first she was kind of up, and then then it went down, and then it kept going down. for me with her. Ashley, there's just not enough there for me, honestly. Will, I don't think he mentioned Will. Will, I would say at the end of the day he grew as a person, as a character. So I would say up for Will. I miss anybody?
Carlton.
Carlton, yes. Carlton, I would have to say just kind of stayed level. Like, he went up at the first couple episodes, he went up, and then he went down. And then when he admitted to his fuck ups, he went way up for me. But he didn't I don't feel like he made leaps and bounds. Honestly, I think he just kind of dug himself a fucking hole and then kind of peeked his head back over on the top. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't really do a whole lot of growth for me. I mean, I guess it took a lot for him to get to the point to admit all that shit, but at what cost? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Facts. I mean, it took him to have that confrontation in the hallway with his sister.
Yeah.
And then going out there and then actually winning and then realizing I don't deserve this.
Yeah.
At all. Like, he spent the entire season bitching and complaining, fighting with Will, going through what he was going through, being a drug addict again.
Yeah.
Of course. All going through all that, then getting in a fight with his sister in the hallway right before the ceremony that he wins. He finally gets that win, walks up to the fucking podium, and then fucking freezes, which I knew was gonna happen. I knew they were gonna do that shit. They were gonna have him fucking have another fucking panic up there.
Yep.
And
he felt so bad with the Ashley shit. It was like, there's no way he was gonna go through with that shit.
Which is why, like, I'm kind of 50-50 on them pulling the trigger on that so soon, of like him just admitting it right then and there, because you see Ashley's face, like, again, like you see your sister's face right there in front of you.
Right.
You're getting ready to accept this award,
right,
and this honor, and then you see your sister literally in tears because of what you did. You know what I mean? And then that's when you finally, I mean, he was high, but he wasn't that high to not realize, he wasn't that high to overlook that. You know what I'm saying? He went too high to overlook what he just did. So that's when all that shit came crashing. Now I want to ask you, would you put that in this if it were up to you, or would you wait a little bit longer and kind of find a better way to do that, or a better place to do that?
I think it was a good cliffhanger for season 3. I think if anything confirmed that there'd be a third season, it was that. But at the same time, I could see them milking him. Honestly, I'd rather it be that than him like OD or something stupid, because that's what I thought was going to happen when he went over with his homeboy to that dealer's house.
Yeah, and he woke up and then
woke up and shit. Yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen. Then I was like, oh, here we fucking go.
As soon as Connor was like, yeah, we actually got to go, and then Carlton was like, oh no, we can party right now.
Exactly.
I literally did this. I was just like,
I did the same shit. I was like,
no fucking way they're about to do this shit.
Right.
I was like, something bad is gonna happen.
Yeah. So I thought he was finna OD right there. Glad he didn't. So I guess they could have taken it to a worse extreme. So for that reason, I'll say I'm glad they did it like this. But I mean, it could have easily gone a different way, and I still would have probably been all right with it.
And that's about the third or fourth time this season alone that they've had the leverage, they've had the room to make these very serious things even more serious, and they didn't. They went very mild on it.
That's true.
They did it with the whole Jackie getting drunk thing. They did it with the Doc and the OG situation.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
With the old street dude.
Yep.
and then they did it with in this situation as well. And there've been a couple other situations too throughout the
Yep.
season where it's been very mild. I wouldn't say mild consequences. 'Cause, I mean, you're still gonna have your consequences, but very mild, uh, tough situations.
Yes.
It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
If this was like an HBO fucking show or some shit like
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah.
still glad that they're keeping this somewhat like I guess
It makes it a little more realistic, in my opinion.
yeah, like
Like
somewhat
not
realistic.
everything is super you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
not
super
everything's to the very extreme. Not everything's gonna be the
yeah,
most fucked up thing you ever see. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I like that. They did that very well in the show. I gotta
Yeah,
say.
I would agree.
Because there's a lot of times where I'm like, oh fuck, man, are they about to do some terrible, terrible shit? And then now they have to kind of get themselves out of that situation, but they ended up not doing it. So I mean that was a good thing. But yeah, I mean I have to agree with you in terms of the character movements as well, like on the charts in terms of the rankings, because Carlton, Carlton to me has always been up there, but I've always been apprehensive on having him as like my favorite character of the show, just because of the times that they just have lazy fucking character development for him, where it's just
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
it's like taking it's like taking a step forward and two steps back every fucking time
Yeah, that's fair.
with the Carlton character. But yeah, Uncle Phil's up there for me. Will, Jeffrey, I think, to be honest, they really do. They got some strong males in the show. They really
Which
built
is
some strong males in the
great.
show.
It's
'Cause-
great.
yeah, because when this show first came out, I thought this was going to be the biggest dumpster fire of all time.
Yep. Yep.
I was like, they're really using the fucking Fresh Prince Bel-Air name
Yep.
to give us some shit. And
Yep.
then that turned out to not be the case, at least for the most part.
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm still fucking with the show, man. I thought
Thank
for sure after those first at least 4 episodes of this season, I was like, bro, I might have to check out this shit. Like it got that bad for me where I was like,
Oh shit, really?
the storyline is moving slow.
It
Some of the
was.
rhetoric that they're putting in there, I'm just like, I
Yeah.
like that Ashley, the Ashley and old Ashley fucking storyline was like in those first 4 episodes, and I was just like,
Yeah, I know, which was
I
kind of
was like, it's really taking me out of this. And then she had that whole fucking rah-rah speech before she left, and I was just like, does the actor? I forget that. God damn. Does Tatiana Ali?
Tatiana
Really,
Ali, yes.
I'm like, is she really fucking with this role?
Yes, of course.
I'm like, you came back after all these years for this fucking role,
For this, yeah, I
this
know.
storyline, like,
I know.
so bad, man, so bad. But I got through it. Second half of the season, I thought was freaking knocked it out of the park. I was
agree.
like, if they wrote the entire season this way, I'd give the show an A+, man.
Yeah, I agree with you, bro. It's the second episodes, I would say 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's some of the best TV I've watched all year. I'll even go as far as say that. And I don't watch a whole lot of shit, but I thought that it was some good writing. So what would you give this season out of 10?
Out of 10, I would probably give this, I would say a 7.
7?
Yeah, 7. For those same reasons, like those same reasons that I gave earlier, was like first half of this season, I was like, nah, man, I'm not really feeling this. Like I'm gonna keep watching every week, obviously, because I'm already invested in the story so much, but and the characters so much. But I was like, man, I might have to check out. And then once it hit that family reunion episode, and everything that was building up in the season kind of had a really big step forward
Yes.
into the overall story, I was like, okay,
Yes.
makes sense now. You got from the whole Erica. It's quite a few love triangles going on in the show too.
Yes.
I mean, you got the whole Erica, Aunt Viv, and Uncle Phil thing going on.
Oh, would you even talk about that?
Yeah, I remember we talked about him being kissed and all stuff.
Well,
But,
yeah. I guess we didn't.
I mean, if you have another point to make in that one, I'm open to it.
I thought I did, but I can't remember. You can keep going. It might come to me.
But the other triangle, obviously, we just talked about, which was the Lisa, Drew, and Will, that whole thing,
And
as
Carlton
well as
too, kind of like a square.
yeah, and then you got the Lisa Jackie Will thing. So
Yeah. God,
it's
yeah.
I mean, You talk about a small world, man. Apparently, Bel-Air and LA is small too. So apparently,
Yeah.
can't nobody find their own girl. So
Yeah, literally. Literally. That's funny.
oh man,
Oh shit.
but
So you said 7 out of 10?
yeah, I got it. I got to give it a 7, man.
Okay.
I mean, season one, I thought they were going to bring Marlon Wayans back this season, but I think they're going to wait a little longer to kind of, because I feel like they're going to bring, I forget the dad's name, but
Lou.
they're going to bring him back eventually to have, and I think this time when they bring him back, Will is going to leave off on a better note with them. Not necessarily they're going to reconcile or anything like that. It's not going to be no Jeffrey and Uncle Phil situation or nothing like
Right.
that, but or I guess relationship, but definitely I feel like Marlon Wayans, he's going to bring that character back. He's going to come back at least one more episode in the series and kind of
Yeah.
at least give Will some, whether it be motivation, um, whether it be just I guess reassurance of the kind of man that Will's going to be. I mean, I don't know, but I feel like there's too much meat left on that bone to not
Agreed.
to not use Will's dad in that
Agreed.
situation.
Especially after the conversation he had with his mom.
Yeah,
And he was saying that he was wanting to meet him more towards the end of this season.
yeah, mega fact.
And I think he'll be back in season 3.
Even though I didn't like the way they did Marlon, I didn't like the way they did his dad's character in season 1, but I get it. You kind of need something that's going to push Will a little more over the edge.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'll have to give it a 7.5 out of 10 for the season. I fuck with it. I was hype. I was a little more hype over the show than you were.
Yeah,
I would say, especially the first 5 episodes. I didn't think were as bad as you thought they were. But yeah, I'd have to give it a 7.5. I think the best episodes were 10. Really, the last 3 episodes were like really good.
yeah.
And then from there, 6 I wasn't a fan of, mainly because it seemed like one of those situations where, like you said, like who the fuck wrote this? But it did close, it did like tie important things together. So for that, I would have to give it another key episode star. I would say like 6, and then like 8, 9, 10.
Was it the family reunion, like the I guess the dialogue during that family reunion episode that made you feel like who the fuck wrote
Yeah,
this, or was it just like the whole overall story?
that, and I think it was just so randomly placed. It was like there was all this other shit building up, and it was like, okay, family reunion time, and then it was like an episode that they put in last minute, not last minute, but like it seemed like they placed it in after the fact, and then they got back to the rest of the shit. But
Mhm.
they tied stuff in with that episode too. So I don't know. It just seemed like kind of like that for me, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they did I'm glad they did a family reunion episode, and they
Yes.
actually did the reunion at the crib. So at least like
Yes.
everybody's storylines can still continue, and everybody's not taken away from LA to where they
Yes.
have to
That's
deal
true.
with shit away from. You know what I mean? I like that
That's
part
true.
of it.
Yeah.
That episode again, I have to go back and watch that full episode again. I wasn't able to take too many notes on that one as to why that episode kind of brought a lot of shit to me, but oh man, that one and episode 7 kind of gave me reassurance that like I'm glad I didn't stop watching the show.
That's fair. That's fair.
'Cause episode 7, I was like, okay, all right, I'm starting to, now everything's starting to roll again. But I like being able to think like, what would I do in situation A or situation B?
Mm-hmm.
So when you present that to me in a show, boom, I'm right there. I'm connected to it.
Mm-hmm.
Those first 5 episodes, I was just like, what the actual fuck is this? From
Yeah, it was kind of,
yeah,
especially the whole Ashley and the teacher shit. That was weak.
yeah. And then
And
the Carlton getting back into drugs, and then
the drugs and the
Will being
protest
defiant
shit.
every 5 seconds, and then the very next second, like when Uncle Phil was like, "Look, I'm gonna give you more room and let you be your own man, and then you let me know when when you need my help." And
Yeah,
I'm like,
he did it for a reason, but
yeah, but I'm like, I don't know if I would. Again, I've never been a parent, so I don't fucking know. But at the
right.
same time, I'm like, I don't know if that's necessary, the right decision to
Yeah.
make as a guardian or parent, whatever. But Yeah, man, I definitely give the season a 7, man. I give it a strong 7. It's not like, oh, dud or anything like that, but
Mhm.
there's definitely some things they got to work on, namely the Ashley thing. Um,
Yeah.
Most definitely. I thought the whole Hillary being an influencer thing was going to be played out. Honestly, I'm still intrigued by it. Now with Aunt Viv getting
Mhm.
into the social media thing, and then that kind of propelling her career, and then her getting to that altercation with the old lady,
Mhm.
old Viv, right? Um, I felt like that was kind of unnecessary, but that is going to happen when you're put in that situation. So again, I can't complain
Yeah.
too much about that.
Yeah. But they
Um,
built that up too because now, Aunt Viv played the mother role.
mhm.
She played, some would say, her position.
Yeah,
And while Uncle Phil was out building his empire, essentially building the family empire and pouring everything he had back into the family.
yeah,
She played the at-home role, putting her dreams aside. Now, in order for her to get her dreams, she really had to work for it. And
yep.
now her and Uncle Phil both are, at the top, basically at their primes of their respective careers and dreams.
Careers.
All at the same time, their fucking sun is melting down. Like the majority of their family is melting down. Ashley's about to be dating a chick. Like,
And there's going to be more discrimination. I can already see that coming. There's going to be more people hating on Ashley and old girl for,
oh, for sure,
and this time it's going to be more than one reason.
for sure. Yep,
So that's going to be,
yep.
again, that's one of those aspects where I'm just like, oh man, like I'm really not looking forward to that aspect of season 3. I know it's coming. I know it's going to
Yep.
be Ashley holding hands with old girl, and then there's going to be
Oh yeah.
discrimination of
I
that.
hope to
Then
goodness they don't
then
have
the
an
whole
instant.
race thing is going to get played into that too. And I'm just
Yeah,
like,
bro, for sure,
uh, I don't know if I really want,
for
but
sure.
well, yeah, we'll see with that whole thing, man. But yeah, like you said, I mean,
I
even Aunt Viv said it in that last episode. She's like, "Oh man, we're gonna be very." She's like, "We're gonna be stretched thin." You know how I can't really hear her voice, but she gets all work. She's like, "Oh, we're gonna be stretched thin," and I'm just
yeah,
like,
yeah. And they were just like, "We'll figure it out."
"Yeah."
And that's that.
I'm just
So,
like, "You
so
made the decision." Like,
right, like, right. It is what it is. We'll figure it out. We're family.
you had all the
Mhm.
opportunity to say no. I'm gonna chill at home. I got 3 kids, technically 4 that I'm still kind of raising. I mean, Hillary's out of the house, but she's still technically raising Hillary too, to an extent. So, or at least giving her advice. So I don't know. Season 3 to me, I'm still looking forward to it. Um, Definitely more excited going into season 3 than I thought it would be. So
Yeah, I'll second that. Yeah.
I'm definitely ready for that. Need
Yeah.
some more legacy characters in there though, man. I think they're gonna start putting in. I mean, you still got the very first Aunt Viv.
Oh,
Dark
she ain't going. She ain't coming back. She had a falling out with the whole crew. She ain't
No,
coming.
but they had that reunion thing. Was it on HBO Max last
Oh,
year?
her and Will made up. That's right.
Yeah, yeah, they made
Right.
up. So I,
Okay.
I don't know if you still got her. I think Jeffrey's still alive.
I think
Um,
so. Yeah. Yeah, he is.
you got Carlton still.
Yep.
Hillary, the old Hillary, she's
Yep.
still fine as hell, I think too.
For her age.
Um, and that's it. Oh yeah, Will. I don't know.
I
I
don't
mean,
know
he's
if
already
Will's
he's,
gonna
he's already a
pop in.
producer on the show, so I don't know if he'll actually. I mean,
Yeah.
what kind of important characters could you really have him play though?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I can't imagine
You
him.
you got to have an
Right.
iconic character. I wouldn't say an iconic character, but you have to have a pretty big, important character for Will Smith to play for him to appear on the show.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
yeah, I
You're
don't
not
know
gonna
if
appear on
that's
that.
what
It's
they're
like a
gonna do.
sidebar character for a scene. I can't
Yeah,
see him showing up, but
yeah. I think they either need him to be like some kind of like I don't know a new high school basketball coach that's gonna influence Will or something like that.
yeah, he'd
Uh,
have to be. Yeah,
to be some
exactly.
kind of like father figure or something like that for Will. I don't know,
It'd have to be something like that. But
but
I honestly, I don't even think I would even like that. So, to be fair, like just keep him out the show, and I
he
think,
said just keep out the show.
yeah, just keep Will Smith out the show, the actual Will Smith, just keep him. Yeah,
Oh man, I don't know, man. I want to see him, man. I at least want to see him
it would
appear.
be cool.
Yeah, yeah. I just don't want him to be a one off. But if he's a one off, I want him to at least have some kind of effect on
Right.
the character. Will.
Right.
on the
That's
show.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Anything else? Did I miss anything? Any plot points?
Let's think. I don't know. We talked about a lot. We covered a lot. So
I do want to say, I'm still keeping my word on Jabari Banks playing Will. Dude has perfected that role already.
oh yeah,
I
100%.
mean, like you see the way like you go back and watch the old Fresh Prince and like Will's aneurysms.
Oh, he's got it down
Like,
pat, dude.
oh my gosh, man.
And some of his like comebacks and shit, he's got it down pat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way like his demeanor, the way
Yep.
he says his words, I'm just like, bruh,
Yep.
this dude had to sit there like there's this other I know I keep mentioning Power. I mean Black Show, right? But I've been watching this Power spinoff that they have called Raising Kanan, and the character Kanan was 50 Cent's character from the original Power show, and the kid that plays a young 50 Cent has perfected the way 50 talks to like where if you watch his interviews, he sounds nothing like 50. He looks like him, but sounds nothing like him.
Wow.
When he talks on the show, sounds exactly like 50 because when 50 got his jaw,
Got shot. Yeah,
I'm
jaw.
like, bruh,
Wow.
like kid is a fucking thespian, bro. Straight fucking thespian. And it seems like Jabari Banks is there as well. He's on that level, man.
Yeah,
He's definitely on that level. Like this show's gonna have a lot of fucking stars, man.
it will.
Future movie
yeah.
stars and because these people, if there's one thing you could say about the show is that the acting is second to none.
I would agree. Some of the best acting in TV today, in my opinion, from the majority of the characters too, not just like one or two. It's like like most, if not all.
Mega facts. And
Yeah,
I mean, I think the worst active person on the show is probably LaMarcus because only because I think he's an actual football player. I think he's actually like an NFL player,
maybe
or a former NFL player.
Maybe.
So they're not too good at actors. But
I was surprised that at Jackie because that's Carucci. That's Lil Wayne's ex-girlfriend.
Is it really?
Yeah.
His ex-girl?
Yeah, I think Lil Wayne. Yeah.
Holy
like
shit!
In real life, yeah.
Damn.
So
okay.
No, sorry, I take that back. Carucci is Hillary's like the friend that she started that influencer house with, who had that shitty drink.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name. That's Lil Wayne's ex.
Oh, okay.
Remember like when they were
what's her name? Ivy or something like that, right?
Huh?
Was it Ivy or something like that, right?
Yeah, some shit like that. Yeah, the one with all the money who like basically funded the influencer house and shit.
Yeah, the short joint.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so that's Wayne's ex-girl.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I was like, dang. I was like, she kind of because when you said Jackie, I was like, yeah, she kind of. I mean, she's kind of young. She young,
right.
Though, like.
Right. Yeah, no, I misspoke. Wrong person. But
hey, I don't know, man. Jackie could probably tempt me. Jackie would definitely probably tempt me back in the day, man. Like,
oh shit,
she's fine.
Yeah, facts.
But yeah, man. I mean, this season I thought knocked it out of the park at the end. Like by the end, they got all their ducks in a row, ready for the next season, man. Most
100%. Yeah, they did great. I think season 3 will be good. I'm ready for it. If it started tomorrow, I'd be watching it. So.
I don't even think they even filmed that joint. They might be filming right now. Who knows?
I kind of doubt it. They probably still on the victory lap.
Yeah, mega facts. Celebrating them ratings, man.
Yeah, let that shit pour in and see what. Yeah,
I mean, there are a lot of people shitting on the show.
What's that?
There are a lot of people shitting on the show.
Really?
In the second season, yeah. You go on Twitter, bro. People I'm not gonna say most people are hating on her or anything, but there's a lot more people that hate on the show than I thought there were.
See, that's crazy to me.
Maybe they didn't watch it. Maybe they got clips. I don't know. Because I can see if you're going off of clips, most definitely.
Oh, but, for sure.
If you actually sit down and watch the show, man, 90% of it's actually good. Like,
and most of it's promoting positivity, so it makes sense why people are, mad at it.
Mega facts. And the fact that they keep family values in there as well.
Exactly.
You know, that's something that of all the shows that I watch, it's still very rarely seen. I mean, we're talking about some of my favorite shows that I watch. They kind of do away with family. I mean, you look at Animal Kingdom, Sons of Anarchy, you know, Friday
Oh
Night
yeah,
Lights.
bro.
It has a little bit of that stuff in there, but you
Oh,
know,
yeah,
for the
bro.
most part, those shows don't really kind of show that full family value aspect to their
Yeah,
storylines.
bro.
But this one does, and so I really fuck with that. And hopefully, this show will move up into one of my favorite shows. Kind of like the original Fresh Prince with one of my favorite sitcoms. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man. I mean,
I
they got
think
a lot
so.
more work to do to kind of win me over in terms of the overall, like whether this show is going to be an all-time favorite or not. But again,
Yeah,
it's only been 2 seasons. We've
right.
only gotten what 22
20
episodes.
episodes. That's
Yeah,
it.
20 episodes. So we'll see, we'll see.
Yeah.
But you got anything else, Jared?
Nah, man. I just need 20 more episodes ASAP.
Like you
It-
said,
uh,
man, if they made this a 12 episode season, that would have been better because they would have
I
been able to
agree.
kind of flesh out a little more of the storyline, kind of spread it a
I
little
agree.
out more, not cram everything into episode 9 and 10.
Yeah,
Obviously,
they really crammed shit in the last like 2-3 episodes. I was like, man, y'all could, because they were still kind of doing some light conflict building
hmm
in like episode 8. I'm like, bruh, like I know you only got 2 more
you
episodes.
got
Like,
2 episodes
are
left.
we building something else right now? You like really? Like, it's like, damn.
Mega facts.
But that's why I was
Mega
like,
facts.
shit. Well, they got to be doing a season 3 then, because I mean, this shit ain't over, you know. So I just don't understand why people don't like it. But you know, maybe that's not for me to understand.
It ain't over till it's over. Shout out to Lily Kravitz, man.
Facts.
OG.
Facts. That's hilarious.
But with all that being said, man, make sure you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that follow on Rumble. You already know, man. Hit up the IG, Twitter, all that good stuff. I got all that shit. So make sure you guys hit up the links that I'm gonna be putting in the descriptions. I got some more videos coming out, all that good stuff. I got another live I should be doing probably within the next week on this channel.
Hell yeah.
Rumble, stay tuned. I got some videos I recorded today. They're going to be going. It's going to be some Rumble exclusives. I got some YouTube only videos as well. So
Yeah.
again, I got a lot of content coming to this channel. Trying to hit that 1K, getting close. So make sure you guys continue to support your boy.
Yeah.
Jaron, any plugs for comrades?
Yeah, man, we'll be back on the airwaves soon. We got Corner. Got to have a little talk behind the scenes to figure out, like, just because I've got some, I don't know, I've just kind of lost some inspiration, but we'll have to have a conversation on the back end, but not in a bad way, just like a content kind of way, a content creator things you might not understand, but no, I'm just messing. But no, man, yeah, just go check out the comment. We got 4 years worth of shit on there, man. So go check us out. I want to shout out. I don't know if he watches or not, but my man Mark Gordon. He been on SoundCloud, going back and listening to all the old stuff and liking all the old videos from the early
Hell
days.
yeah.
So shout out to Mark. Mark's hungry for the comrades, bro. So like,
Hell yeah.
he been going back and
Shout out,
actually
man.
like looking through our content. So shout out to Mark for that. But yeah, man, we'll be back. Don't worry, we ain't gone forever. That's all I got to say.
And make sure I hit up that merch too, man.
Yeah, and
Once
get
I
that
check out the
damn merch.
content and y'all fuck with us, get that merch, man.
Get the damn merch. Is there a chance for any HAP merch coming soon?
Ooh, I'm gonna be honest, probably not.
Okay.
I got a lot of spring cleaning to do with this channel, man. Especially with YouTube fucking just coming down with these strikes of old videos that I posted.
Yeah,
So like,
comrades got struck too. Yeah.
So like, I'm kind of hesitant on like going full blown until I actually know what I'm gonna do with this channel. I'm still trying to gauge out the algorithms and stuff like that. You know, sometimes the wrestling stuff is up here. Sometimes the other entertainment stuff's up here. Sometimes when I talk about clown world shit, it's up here. So again, I'm trying to like figure out where to actually like kind of organize the content on this channel instead of just posting just random shit all the time. But again, it's called Half-Ass for a reason. The reason why I haven't changed the title of this fucking channel is because, look, man, you're only just getting videos from me that shit that I care about and shit that I deem and enthusiastic about and shit that I'm passionate about. So, That's just what it is, man. Look, I'm not here to get the likes and all the other stuff. And if it comes when it comes, I've been on this channel for what since 2019.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
look, doing a little something right, man. a little something right. But
Yeah,
anyways, man, make sure you guys continue to support this channel, continue to support Comrades. We will be back soon. It's your boy Corn. It's Big J.
Big
It's
J.
Half-Ass Pod, and this was our Bel-Air Season 2 review. We are OU.